Zoos have always reflected and influenced our attitudes toward animals. The evolving philosophy of some zoos is now changing our views about animals and the way we treat them. Most zoos were once little more than animal showboats. Some are becoming animal lifeboats. The earth has never belonged to humans alone. It is our home, but we do not own it. We simply live here for a time, sharing it with all living things. But our footprints are everywhere. With each day and every step, we leave in our path animals and habitats that are injured. There is an environmental emergency, and the plight of all animals and habitats is at stake. Over thousands of years, our unique type of intelligence led us to become the most powerful in the animal kingdom. Many cultures translated this power into control over other species. And our ability to capture and confine animals symbolized our domination. But perhaps our current understanding now compels us to rethink our relationship with animals. Animals are not objects, yet we've collected them as if they were. For decades, zoos and aquariums took wild animals from distant lands and used them to entertain us. 100 years ago, zoos and circuses were really quite similar. They both used animals to make us laugh and to make money. Chimpanzees were dressed in clothing and trained to do things that we found comical. And because humans are at times a selfish species, we didn't think much about the quality of life for these performing animals. As the public clamored to see a bigger variety of animals, great numbers were taken from the wild. And because everyone loves baby animals, many zoos began excessive breeding programs, often without regard for the animals' needs or future. Baby animals were frequently taken from their mothers so the public could see them up close. But baby animals don't stay cute or little for long. Soon, there were hundreds of unwanted, surplus exotic animals. The zoos that had profited by breeding them could neither feed nor house them indefinitely. As animals outlived their usefulness, zoos struggled to find a way to get rid of them. The very animals that had brought visitors through the gates were no longer of value. What would become of them? Zoos defined a surplus animal as one that was no longer needed for display or for breeding. As the number of these surplus animals increased, there seemed to be few ways to dispose of them. Selling unwanted animals to animal dealers and research facilities was becoming a common answer to overpopulation. And so was the practice of culling, what some call euthanasia, the killing of healthy individuals. At the same time, an unexpected demand for these healthy, unwanted animals emerged from the television and movie industry. Early TV programming didn't feature animals in their natural habitats. It focused on animals as entertainers. This beloved collie show was followed by a trio of programs whose stars were horses. One could even talk. There was also a friendly dolphin in prime time. And there was a new kind of drama featuring kindly veterinarians who treated exotic animals in Africa. but the warm and engaging human and animal interactions on screen conceal a very different reality for the cast of animals. The television and movie industry, as well as a growing number of animal theme parks, discovered and encouraged the public's appetite for animal programs. These shows required multiple stars, and as they became more popular, the demand for trained animals skyrocketed. Circuses had an ongoing need for animals in their traveling shows. They became both breeding and dumping grounds for many kinds of animals. Circus animals were usually doomed to live out their lives traveling endlessly in small cages on trains and trucks. They were often alone, without adequate care and without stimulation. They lived horrible lives just to entertain us, and today, little has changed. Even private citizens were part of the cycle of surplus animals. It was possible and popular to have your own exotic pet. While some people were buying bears and wolves as pets, others wanted the large and very dangerous exotic cats. Leopards, lions, and tigers became living trophies. Today, in many parts of the United States, huge numbers of exotic animals are regularly bought and sold as pets. There are an estimated 10,000 pet tigers in this country. In the state of Texas alone, there are far more tigers in private hands than in all the U.S. accredited zoos combined. Circuses are also in the business of breeding novelty animals for profit. Contrary to what some say, novelty animals such as white tigers and white lions are not endangered species that need protection. They are simply mutants. Some individuals who own exotic animals visit schools with them. They claim it is educational, but often it is just another way to make money. It's a practice that is stressful for the animals and encourages children to want their own exotic pet.
These are my daughter's pets.
Exotic animals do not make good pets. Most owners lack the technical knowledge or ability to properly care for them. People are hurt and killed every year by exotic pets. These animals can and do introduce diseases to domestic animals and to humans. 90% of all reptiles carry a potentially deadly bacteria called salmonella. Iguanas, snakes, lizards, and turtles are common carriers of this bacteria. Just holding the animal is enough to infect you. Incredibly, killing exotic animals also became a money-maker. The grisly concept of canned hunts became popular in the 1960s. Almost anyone who owned a little acreage could put up a chain-link fence, buy a few exotic animals, and call it a private game ranch. Then as now, enormous fees are paid to shoot and kill an exotic animal who has no chance of escape.